Howdy y'all, welcome back to Rat Says Hot Rods. We are removing the rear window on the 65 Coupe de Ville. As you can see, we are up on the lift, and I'll start using the lift here shortly to to get it into a good position. And one of the best purchases I've made was this bend pack scissor lift. Really happy with it. We'll rock and roll through this, kind of speed it up. There's not a whole lot to it, but removing a bunch of old window weld, butyl mix of some kind of weird combination of stuff that held this window in, and I'll bust out the window removal tool, which I do highly recommend, and I purchased off Amazon. Basically a pull handle with a knife edge on it, and you insert it into and behind the window and pull it with the handle, and it works really good. I'll show you that in a minute. Let me speed this up.
Smoker exhales in the space of his outcast face, and the payphone corner talker, she smiles with a cut so pure and so mild. You used to know her in the eyes of her street light as a cool over the shoulder witness of the night. Baby, here I am. Now here I am, a folk terrorist without a sound, with the white trash wasteland to shout about, with the antique voice to break it down, and screaming out about the future burn out. This lost-eyed Willie Nelson, he gets up and puts his digital boots on, speaking with this 6 a.m. glam dresser. She tells the secrets of how she put her groove on. You know what she told me? Said, my sweet baby, I will lose my mind, lose my mind. There's many, many reasons.
Okay, so here's the window removal tool, or glass removal tool. It basically cuts the butyl adhesive on the inside of the window. Following it around, I used that orange handle pick from Harbor Freight. Little cheap guys, I use the hell out of those things just to kind of clean the channel as much as I could. And I don't want to break this glass because it's not easily to come by another one. I do have a parts car outside, but I'd like to save that glass if at all possible. It's a nice tool, and it just kind of helps you drag it around. The one thing I did find is if you get the tool into a spot where it's too tight to turn it sideways, you can't get it out of there, so you need to pull, and you'll see me, I'll have to pull it all the way back to where I started the tool to get it back out, which isn't a big deal, but it's my first time using one of these. Like I said, or maybe I didn't, I picked this up on Amazon. It's one of the OTC tools. That's the brand, kind of the generic brand, and it worked really good. Let me speed it up. Okay, here's a moment of truth. A couple bumps from the backside, and she comes loose nice and easy. A little bit awkward to handle by myself, but got the job done. There's a lot of crap on the inside of this glass that I'll have to razor blade off later, but the main accomplishment of this day's work here is done. Now we get the joy of cleaning all of the crap out of those channels, and you got to get everything out. As you guys know, there is a little bit of pitting and rust in the channel, but all in all pretty good. The windshield, I had to pretty much weld in new pieces to make that work, but I'm pretty happy with the way the rear window looks. So we'll go through a process of getting what I can off with my gloves, and This stuff is crazy sticky. I guess the name of the game, just like anything else that I've done on this car, is taking your time and getting a good result. But I'll get as much as I can off, and I'll go with a wire wheel and get that cleaned up. And also, I think I bust out, yeah, I do bust out a Harbor Freight scraper, pneumatic scraper, and it worked really, really well on this stuff. I don't exactly know how it works, but it works. Kind of vibrates a blade right down that channel. Was really happy with it. So I think we'll get this cleaned up, and we're basically trying to kill time to let the poly primer dry on the panels that are sitting there behind me. There's always something you can be doing. If you're waiting on something to dry, there's always something else you can work on. That's my theory. So I try and pack as much work in to this stuff as possible. I may be showing you, here's how sticky that stuff is. So I wasted a few gloves, but it was worth it. Bust out the putty knife, we'll scrape, we'll speed this up, and then I'll cut you back in here when I bust that scraper out.
Tell me about the other side, but could you please save me? Some post-ironic lady on the wire of some sad fire, so fierce and so crazy, and the speech-making man is so fried as he obsessively checks the mic. The talking black cat to the fire chief he rides as the suburbs ignite. Baby, here I am. Here I am, a folk terrorist without a sound, with the white trash wasteland to shout about, with the antique voice to break it down.
All right, time for this pneumatic scraper. And like I said, I think it was probably 15 bucks from Harbor Freight, and had been sitting in my drawer forever. I'm not sure why I picked it up, but I'm glad I did. Got most of the adhesive out with the putty knife, and then using the scraper to really get in there. And it basically, like I said, it comes with about 7 blades, and it vibrates the blade as you press, and it really got under some of that older adhesive and got it out of there. So mission accomplished with it. It does take a little bit. Sorry about the sweet leg shot there, folks. So let me speed it up. It is kind of boring and tedious, but I just kind of wanted to demo that tool a little bit for you guys out there. Take a look at it on Harbor Freight. Kind of cheap insurance and saved me a lot of work.
I said, baby, I will lose my mind. There's many, many reasons why I just wasn't made for these times, for these times, yeah, for these times, oh baby, for these times,
All right, time to finish it up. This is this is another Harbor Freight tool. I guess, as you guys will learn, is I spend the money on the products that I'm using, and if there's a way I can get by with a cheaper tool, I get by with it. It's bit me in the ass in the past on some things, and I've kind of learned my lesson, but there are some things that are just worth a try, and you can't beat it. For, I think this grinder was 20 bucks with the coupon. It's got a paddle on it, and so you don't have to deal with that goofy trigger assembly. And I bought 2 of them, and it works really good. Cup wire brush from Home Depot, one of the twisted knot ones. I think they work way better. So I'll get this final cleaned up and kind of wrap things up here in a couple minutes towards the end, but let's speed this up.
Johnny is dead, no hands can hold him back. Dissolving in the subway stations, smart liquor supplies
Okay, guys, thanks again for watching, subscribing, liking, and not liking, and really like the comments and the questions that have been coming in. I'll keep working on it. I'll get to work on the next video right now because I'm way behind putting these things together. As always, peace and grease, sucker.